Hey everybody, welcome to an exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today is the 22nd of January 2016, and if you happen to be in a wide swath of the mid-Atlantic to East Coast, well, it's a little snowy outside, isn't it? Yes. Well, fortunately, you can warm up to a flurry of kit announcements and a blizzard of kit news and views. Yes? No. Yeah. And it hasn't even really snowed us in yet. Fortunately, up here on the Pittsburgh side of things, we're sort of on the northern end of the backside of the storm here. So, we're supposed to get about 8 to 10 inches. It's not the through 2 to 3 feet that the rest of the country is supposed to get over in the D.C., Maryland area. Although I have to go down to Maryland on Tuesday, so that should be fun. See if they can get the roads plowed out enough for me to travel through there. We do have quite a bunch of stuff here for this week's show. Kit announcements from Revell, kit announcements from Italeri, some other random other stuff here. Of course, the Nuremberg Toy Fair starts in a few days, next Wednesday on the 27th. So that'll bring us a flurry of specifics on several things. And then there are some brand new kits out this week, and a whole plethora of reissues. So let's dive in, sort of backtracking a little bit and covering some of the stuff from last week. We had mentioned last week, of course, that the Revell of Germany Ferrari 250 short wheelbase was temporarily suspended. It continues in the suspended animation, and we can provide the information to you that this is only a Revell of Germany problem, and it only apparently affects that model kit. Don't know what it is about that model kit that causes such a problems. Something somewhere just doesn't agree with Ferrari. I don't know what it is. This is the second time now that Revell of Germany's tried to release this kit and had it not come to fruition. Of course, it's an Italeri tooling. Italeri has never reissued the kit, at least not in the last, 15, 20 years. There's got to be a reason that this kit won't be reissued. Hopefully, Revell can work out what the issue is and get the kit out, because some of those old Italeri kits are kind of really expensive. The last time I think they might have been run technically was under that Testors reboxing, where Testors, did a whole bunch of foreign kits and sold them here in the United States. They did a bunch of Fujimi Enthusiast Series kits. They, of course, did a bunch of Italeri kits. Some of the old IMC kits, the 48 Fords. There's just a bunch of stuff that got run off there in the, I guess, late 80s, maybe, mid 80s. And I don't think Italeri reissued it themselves after that. There's some of the other stuff, the 275s and stuff, that also has never been reissued by Italeri for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just the tool, the licensing thing doesn't work as far as Ileri's, budget is concerned, or what, but so that's currently on hold. Now, that, again, we talked about last week, there's a whole, the sky was falling, they're going to ban plastic and all this other nonsense that went on online. We can tell you right now that there are 4 Ferrari kits coming out of Fujimi in this show that we're doing right this instant. And then we can also confirm officially that the Tamiya 124 scale Italian track-only kit, this will be kit 24343, is going to be the Ferrari FXXK. Cha-ching! So there's your speculation coming true. It was not really a large stretch if you really pay attention to what Tamiya does in any way, shape, or form, as well as just what, where they are at as far as what they do with their model kits. They're not a real big multiple, tooling thing in the sense of variations. They're not the Aoshima, the Fujimi of Japan, where, we're going to make this tooling and then there's 17 more kits that are going to come out of the back door by changing some bumpers and decals. But they do tend to issue like a modified reissue on pretty much everything. The Enzo, of course, had the FXX, and the FXXK is the racing prototype R&D development car that is based on the LaFerrari. So while the kit is, a brand new tool, it's not even a car. A lot of people are like, well, they have the FXX, so there's, basing it on, it's a completely different car, so it's a brand new tool. But some of the parts will transfer from the LaFerrari over as far as patterns and stuff like that goes. So it's not a brand new kit totally in development, but it is a new kit. So that, like I said, officially can announce that is their announcement for Nuremberg on Wednesday. They released it on their blog, I think it was this Wednesday or maybe yesterday. And, so again, there's not a ban of Ferrari kits. There's not going to be never going to be another Ferrari kit nonsense. Clearly, Tamiya has their valid Ferrari license. Clearly, Fujimi has their valid Ferrari license. This is just a problem with Revell of Germany and that specific model kit. Because it's not like Revell of Germany had to stop making all of their Ferrari kits that they already have on the market. They obviously have their Enzo, their LaFerrari. I think there's the Ferrari California still in the catalog. The 599 GTO and the Super America are still in the catalog. And there's, I think, the 360 Modena convertible is still in the Revell of Germany catalog. Obviously, they still have their kits that they're working on and distributing. There's just that one, the 250 short wheelbase. Don't know what it is, but you can't have one, at least not right now. Also on the kit, sort of news announcements, Bell kits. We know that they have their, what I guess would be 72 and 73 rally, the daily Mir Rally Championship cars, those Escort 1600 RS kits. Those are now on pre-order. HobbyLink Japan, Hobby Search, obviously other places. For a March delivery, and they pretty much are usually pretty good on that as far as those delivery dates being correct as far as that goes. We will see official kits at Nuremberg, obviously, and then also at Nuremberg they are planning to announce their own. They're going to have a brand new kit announcement on Wednesday as well. I saw a lot of people debating online what this kit was going to be based on this silhouette of that car. It's a stock image, guys. There's not even any mirrors on that car. Even rally cars have mirrors, so it's obviously not what that silhouette is. A large debate took place on their Facebook page about what that silhouette was a car of, and it's not that. It's not the real car covered in a sheet. It's just a representation of the new announcement. So, like I said, you'll have the brand new Escort kits. There are going to be, like I said, two of them. There is a 1972 Roger Clark and the 1973 Timo Mickelson. Those two are going to be, like I said, March releases. We also got from Hasegawa, they're going to be reissuing their Lancia Stratos, another one, in the 1978 San Remo Rally winner livery, and their Lancia 037 in the 1983 Monte Carlo Rally winner. That's the Martini-sponsored car. They're also going to be reissuing their photo etch for the Lancia 037. This will be Hasegawa's factory photo etch, not going through like Studio 27 or through Hobby Design or anything else. That is factory photo etch the way Aoshima does a lot of their photo etch recently. Also, I would probably expect that there will be factory photo etch and perhaps factory carbon fiber for this FXXK out of Tamiya as well. If not, I'm sure Studio 27 will take care of the carbon fiber, but I can pretty much, dollar for donuts guarantee you there will be photo etch. That's just been the way they do these the black box high end kits like the Enzo, like the FXX, like the LaFerrari, like the Porsche Carrera GT, and et cetera, et cetera. They've all had a factory photo etch set with them, and of course the LaFerrari had the optional factory carbon fiber, as well as the Enzo was available. I don't know if the factory carbon fiber was ever sold separately with that, but there was a box set. I have that kit that is a box set that has the factory photo etch, the factory carbon fiber, as well as some Mylar sheeting to do the heat shield and stuff like that. So more likely the LaFerrari will have that. Let's see what else. We have some preview sheets from Italeri. These just showed up this morning. Online on a forum, and of course you can go to Ilari's website and see these same things here. I know this isn't really a great photo in the sense of being something you guys can see, but just a couple of things I want to point out here. The yellow van in the middle there, that is the old SE tooling of the Ford Transit. A friend of mine, so to speak, in Ireland, who probably has spent more money on old Ford Transit tool kits, original kits, than I probably have in 2/3 of my collection. I'm not sure how many Transits he actually has at this point. I know it's more than a dozen. And now the value of all of those literally hundreds of dollars worth of Transit vans is now reduced to probably somewhere around the neighborhood of $30. So again, you can never ever say never about anything unless it's been modified or lost, because I don't think that SE Transit's been out since the 1980s, and poof up, we found it. The very interesting thing on this sheet here, obviously got a bunch of European vans, is down in the bottom left is a sort of older Western Star. I'm assuming that's again an old Italy tool as well. That I haven't seen it in so long. I don't know what the basis of that is from. And then there's a second page here that has a number of Lamborghinis on it. An LP, I think it's an LP 500, 25th anniversary, the Diablo and the Miura. At least the Diablo and the Miura are also old SE toolings, which means that Diablo is the same one that AMT released, which is that's an awful kit, let's just face it. I'm not sure what the basis for those two Countachs are, but they are more than likely also either old Italy tools or old SE tools. Excuse me, guys. They're not going to be the Fujimi kits, and of course the Fujimi kits or the newer Aoshima kits are a much better way to go about your Countaching, although the 25th anniversary kit, as we've talked about in the past, is only available from Fujimi. I guess that takes us to the second quarter flyer from Revell. So, I guess for people that are subscribed to Rick Zink, he was all eager beaver last night and stole all of our thunder on this. Although, watching that video, I sort of felt like I was buying some kits that fell off the back of a truck. All in good fun, Rick, but geez, could the lighting been a little bit worse on your the part where you're aiming it at your face? I was like, is there a person there? Is it a shadow? Again, I kid. No, obviously not seriously any hard feelings here. News goes out in all the channels, and the more people that know about it, the better off everybody is. So going through the list here on the top, you have the Dale Earnhardt Jr. and the Jimmy Johnson versions of the Chevy SS. These will be the next set of Snap-Tight Max NASCAR kits. These will be just like the Ford Fusion kits were, somewhere in the neighborhood about 38 parts or so. They're Snap-Tights. They will come sort of pre-painted, but the stickers, and they literally are stickers, guys. Keep that in mind. You're going to need aftermarket decals for these, regardless of how you plan to build them, in order to, not make them look like the toys that they really are. They will more than likely, much like the Ford Fusions, be old chassis shoved under new bodies. The Ford Fusion kits really, at this point, are pretty much useless as far as being accurate other than their bodies. At least they got that part right. And I assume the SSs will be the same way. The bodies will be pretty, standardized and decent, and then everything underneath of it will be, sort of cobbled the new tool patterned after old tool thing. I can only hope that when the glue kits eventually come out in 2017 or so, that they will have the correct chassis underneath of them, because they're Snap-Tight kits. You're not going to invest that much money in them, and the bodies being the primary thing. So I'm not going to criticize them that much, but if they put out full detail, nearly $30 glue kits, and they have the old, mid-2000s chassis underneath them instead of the car tomorrow, 6.5, whatever they call that car at this point, chassis, there'll be an uproar, and, it's just going to be a shame if they do that. The one interesting thing about here is that these are the 2016 patterns, liveries for those NASCAR kits, so at least they're going for the most current versions. Second quarter is going to be your March, April, May, so these will come out right after, the first couple races of the season, so they'll be fairly fresh. And at this point, NASCAR liveries change pretty much every race anymore, so it's impossible for them to do, something that's going to be current to the entire season. Dropping down to the second thing, into the skill level 4 kits, brand new tool, 83 Cutlass Hurst Olds. Finally, my God, I'm so sick and tired of hearing people whine about this kit. Fine, there, have it. Please, my God, buy a case of them. I have nothing against the Hurst Olds. I have nothing against this kit. The test shot, it's a little iffy in a couple of couple places, but it is a very, very early test shot that we're seeing on Angelo's Facebook, and it's, of course, spread across the social media platforms at this point. I'm not going to link to it because, again, it's such an early test shot. It's literally probably the first test shot, almost a rapid prototype. So, there's not a lot to be sitting around going, well, make this judgment, make that judgment. It's a little too early for that. It is a brand new tool. It is 1/25th scale, so this is not based on the GNX or the Monte Carlo. This is also not the Donk kit that was shown back in 2004. If I hear one more person say that this is that kit, I'm going to reach through the internet and slap that person. This is a completely from the ground up brand new tool kit. It has nothing to do with the previous kit. That was not even the same management group that owns Revell right now, nor is it 1/24 scale and based on those other earlier 1980s G-body kits. Will that then lead this to being 1/25th scale G-body kits beyond this? Unless they do a Grand Prix, probably not, folks. Hate to break it to you, but more than likely they're not going to turn this into another GNX or just a more baseline Regal, nor are they going to reissue the Monte Carlo in the 1/25th scale. The tools are still viable. People still buy them. I know a lot of people have that whole scale bigot issue where they have to have everything the same scale on their shelves. I don't have that problem. I don't know why anyone really would. It's not that big a difference. But chances are this is not going to lead to that. There is a second version of this. It'll be the FE3X, the Darth Vader 442, so to speak. That's the other known version of this kit that will come out at some point, probably next year. Reissue of the 91 Ford F350 dually. I sort of meh at this at the beginning, and I think I maybe, if I can find one for a cheap price, I get a second one. I have an original kit, but that thing is red, and, I don't have the whole, I can't paint it, it's red thing, but it would be nice to have one in white anyway. There's always use one. I've got so many trailers and Galaxy trailers and other trailers to pull with it. I could have another one. Whether or not I'll buy another one, I couldn't tell you offhand. But like I said, it's one of those things where if I found one cheap enough, I'd go for it. On the bottom, on your skill level 5s, the 69 Camaro, the Yenko Camaro, that is not a special edition. This is not anything new per se. It is actually tied into, if you look to the left there, the Fast and the Furious thing. Now, a lot of people say, well, the AMT did that. Yeah, AMT did that, and it was awful because they were making something out of nothing, basically. The Revell 69 Camaro, let's face it, other than maybe the 64 Ford Fairlane Thunderbolt, probably one of the best kits that Revell has ever done in modern times. And, will I need one? No, I already have a Yenko Camaro, and I'm not going to buy another one just for a set of wheels and a Fast and the Furious tie-in, but that's probably going to be the only difference will be the wheels that are similar to the movie car. Far more interesting, to the bottom there, the 48 Ford Coupe 2-in-1 being shown as a police car on the sheet here. What I suspect this will be the a brand new body, obviously, and the glass, and I don't know if there's really anything else to it. I don't think the interior really needs to be updated to anything else. But the new body, the new glass, and these quote-unquote police parts, because let's face it, I've given up on Revell and everybody ever just doing real police parts. They always got to do some cartoony thing, and maybe it's licensing, but like the 57 Ford police parts were kind of, sort of, but not really at all accurate for what they were trying to represent. The police car thing does nothing for me. However, I really have always really wanted a stock roof height 48 Ford. Of course, the 48 Ford, came out in that pre-chop for your inconvenience version, at least for me. I know it's a great kit. I know it's a lot of kit bashing parts and all the rest of that stuff, so please don't write me angry letters. But from the aspect of what I build, and from the aspect of just modeling in general, would you not rather chop your own roof than have one that's set at you can't re-raise the roof. It's already as low as it is, and this, of course, will be a monumental step over top of the old IMC 48 Ford. I saw somebody actually say, well, it's just it's the IMC tool. No, it's not, because the IMC tool was sent to Japan. It was run by Union, and nobody's seen it since then. And even if it did exist and somebody doesn't realize it, IMC tools were bought by Lindbergh. Lindbergh was bought by Round 2. So that means that if the tooling still existed in a physical sense somewhere in the United States or Japan in a way that someone could reclaim it, it belongs to the people in South Bend. Revell does not have access to it. It's not the IMC. It's brand new body, and more than likely will be put onto the kit of the convertible. The Woody, obviously, the same difference, but it'll be I expect this to fully be the new body, the rear window glass in the convertible kit, which is frankly fantastic because the convertible kit is a hot rod and a factory stock. So this will come, the 2-in-1 here will be a factory stock car done as the police version and a hot rod. Combine that with all of the hot rod parts out of that chopped 48 Ford, where there's some hot rod parts in the 48 Woody and the hot rod parts that are already in the convertible kit, and you have a kit bashing plethora and a stock height thing. Stock height coupe. You can go hog wild on this, and there's so many of those 48 Ford kits around. They're not a dime a dozen, but they're really kind of cheap. The 48 Fords, some Michaels still have those. Grab one for 40% off and steal the engine parts. And the other really cool thing, and I know that for a lot of people who are like, "Ooh, these guys build a lot of Japanese cars and modern cars." He's all jazzed up about that Ferrari FXXK. Yeah, but look, a 30 Model A Ford too. This, of course, is the next version of the 29 Ford Hot Rod tool. This box art image, or this sales image, whatever you want to consider it, not quite the most accurate thing. It will come this way, but there's also with the 350, there's like a small block Chevy with a blower. There's going to be a different set of wheels. There's many additional parts to this kit. It is not just a 1930 roofed coupe thrown on top of the 29 Ford tooling. It obviously shares a great majority of it. Anybody who has a 29 Ford knows that this kit was coming, regardless of whether or not you ever read the Revell article that sort of teased it, because the floor pan, there's an extra floor pan in the 29 Ford kit that doesn't fit anything because it belongs to that kit, not the 29 Ford. So there are probably 3 purchases off this list. I'll get the Ford, the 48, the 30, and more than likely we'll get one of the Cutlasses just because if it's halfway decent. I don't have the attachment to the Cutlass that a lot of people do. I'm the age that I should, but I think I have one friend that ever had one, and I just was never that enamored by it. I know a lot of people are, and if it's a sales success, great for Revell, because that'll prove that this type of vehicle would sell. I know that people are like, "Oh, we get a lot of more 70s cars." No, we can skip the 70s cars. I don't need a model kit of a Murata. I'm sorry, I just don't. But it'll at least hopefully sort of skew a little bit towards getting us some more, if not modern kits, at least some more current. I know 83 is not that current, but still, in 1983 I was 6, so it's not that current. But be that as it may, get the juices flowing beyond the scope of the 1960s. Lastly, down there at the bottom is the chopper set. I don't know what this is going to include. There's some people saying, well, maybe it's all of them in one box or something like that. I think it was 5 of them or 7 of them or something like that. I don't know enough about them to speak on them with any kind of authority, and so I will just sort of defer to the people who are experts in the motorcycles and that have the Revell choppers. There's something going on here, and we should probably find out more as time goes on. I guess that's pretty much, that's what Revell is doing. I don't have any objections to it, and not that you would care if I object to it or not, really. I mean, I'm just telling you about stuff. But I'm much happier with that release sheet than I was with the first quarter one, because the first quarter one was like, there's nothing on here that's new. It's all old stuff other than the the toy, the build and play GT that's coming out after the auto show season, and that's it. There was nothing new about that. So speaking of the first quarter of 2016, there are all 4 of the Revell kits for this month are out. If you can't find them in your hobby shop, that's not my problem. I know that sounds kind of mean, but I always have to hear from somebody who's like, I can't find it, and you said it was out. I went to my local guy. He's put up a brick and mortar store, and he's our vendor for all our shows. And you've met him if you go to any show anywhere on the Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, maybe Northern Kentucky kind of show circuit. But he has a brick and mortar store now. I was out there on Monday, actually, and they were there. So you've got two Foose kits. These are pre-paints. They are pre-painted like the box art. Now, obviously, this is the drawing, not the actual box art of the real car, but this is painted black over silver. It's already painted. Otherwise, it's the exact same kit that the pre-paint was, except it has a new set of wheels in it. There are no body modifications to it, just a new set of wheels, and of course the Foose pre-paint. And that is the same deal with the 2013 Charger SRT8, painted the way the kit is shown on the box art with a new set of wheels, but otherwise the exact same kit as the other 2013 Challenger. I said Charger there, didn't I? The other 2013 Challenger SRT8 that has been done previously in the other two paintings. So, some Foose tie-in. I'm sure some people will probably buy it as a Foose collectible. Some people will buy it for the modern wheels. I really think this is an actually okay paint job for the Corvette as far as being a custom paint job. I like it. Not enough to buy it, but I like it as far as, the things that the Foose cars have been. I like this the most out of the 4 or 5 other choices that we've seen at this point. Also released this month were the unpainted versions of the pre-paints for the 2013 Camaro ZL1. Despite the horribly goofy wheels and the fake cowl induction hood, it does come with the factory stock wheels and the factory stock hood, so you can build a regular car out of it. And that same thing goes for the 2014 Mustang GT. The 5-spoke wheels in this are ridiculously big for the Mustang. They're not a bad set of wheels, but they don't go on something this small. And the cowl induction hood is just preposterous because nobody uses that style cowl induction hood on a Mustang in the first place. It's not a bad hood, though. I actually bought this. It's not a bad hood. It actually has underhood detail and stuff like that. They put some time and effort into the hood. It's just a shame that it's, there's not a bigger motor or something underneath. But otherwise, both of these kits are the exact same kits as the pre-paints, just with these sort of weird, I'm a 19-year-old kid with too much money parts editions, and and they're not painted this time, and they have real decals. Real water slide decals for the 5.0 logo, as far as the Mustang goes, because that's what I have. For the 5.0 logos, for the dash gauges, for everything is real water slide decals, not stickers. And of course, you bought the pre-paints; they didn't have any decals for the inside at all. It's still the same, chassis and with the metal axles and everything else like that, but it's not as childish as the pre-paints. That'll take us over to our new kits out of Japan. These are all reissues, but they're new because they haven't been out for so long. And they are the Fujimi Ferrari 430, the Fujimi Ferrari 430 Challenge, the Ferrari Super America, and the Ferrari 355 Challenge. All of these are, of course, curbside kits. The Super America and the 355 Challenge have no engine detail to them at all. There is a little bit of chassis detail in the sense of like a bottom of the engine and exhaust. But you get 72 parts here, and probably 7 or 8 of those parts are roll caging and racing parts that are, additional here, 72 parts here. You are in the 96 parts in the Ferrari 430. You do get like a top of the engine because, of course, the Ferrari 430 has the visible engine hatch, and you're at $127 on the Ferrari 430 Challenge because there's a bunch of racing components to it. But other than that, there are reissues of older kits, but it does prove that you do get Ferrari kits in the future. It's not all gloom and doom as some people would have you believe. And that brings us up to a bunch of reissues that came out this week. The Hasegawa Lamborghini Jota SVR. This was a December reissue that is just coming out now. Still like 3 or 4 more December reissues from Hasegawa that have not seen the light of day, but be that as it may, that kit has been reissued this week. And then everything else here is going to be Aoshima. Aoshima in December. These are December catch-ups. You have the Nissan, the December catch-ups. The December mustards will come next. You got the Nissan Cedric Tokyo Metropolitan Police Car. You've got the Subaru Sambar in the World Rally Blue Limited Edition. same kit as the other Subaru Sandbar that Oshima offers. However, this one is molded in blue, and it is a representation of the real thing, which was a limited edition 1,500 unit run in the famous World Rally blue color. The other December reissue to catch up here is going to be the Subaru Sandbar Japan Post. This is more of a panel van, obviously. And, if you bought anything through HobbyLink Japan or Hobby Search, your box has probably seen the inside of one of those. That'll take us over to the January reissues. Excuse me, guys. You got the Initial D Toyota Truno 86 Sprinter. This is the Project D version. This is the second of the 3 kits. You have some, new engine parts and some racing seats and stuff like that, but this is sort of just a little bit more than the stock Truno. The kit, as we always say, that you want to try to get is the 86 Truno Volume 37. This has every single part to all of the A86 Truno kits. As far as what I guess these are the early Truno technically. This has all of the engine components from a factory stock engine all the way up to the race engine. It has all of the optional interior parts, including the roll cage. This has, like I said, all of the parts. This is the one you want to go for because you can build it anything from a very mild Truno, whether you build it to the Initial D or to anything else. You can build it from just a very mild-mannered car all the way up to a full-blown drift race car. So that's always a very cool option to have. If it was up to me, I would trade in a couple of the earlier kits that I have and just buy a couple of these, but didn't realize it at the time, and well, that's why we do a show, so you don't make the same mistakes. Let's see what else we got here. We got the top secret Nissan S15 Silvia. You've got the Urace Skyline. This is, of course, the quote-unquote street version of the four-door drift car. It has a race interior, so you're not going to be able to build a legitimate four-door like stock vehicle out of this. You could spend a lot of time and effort to do that, but you're not going to get that out of the box. You have the Auto Couture Kiwami tired version of the Toyota Celsior. This is obviously a VIP car. And you have the K-Brake Kiwami tired version of the Toyota Crown Majesta. Sort of an older Crown Majesta, actually. This is sort of the early 90s version. This kit has not been out for quite a while, just based on what it is and how old the car is. There was actually, a lot of people were discussing sort of unrelated to this kit. Let me get off of it. Unrelated to that we're discussing the variety of Japanese kits that are available and how many of them are bland four-door sedans and stuff like that. And there were 2 kits of the Toyota Crown Majesta that were issued in 1991 and 1992. That's how old that car is, as far as what the year it represents. And they were just very bland factory stock cars. A friend of mine called them like boring milk toast on milk toast. And but that's what they were, really created for, were those VIP cars. If you really go through a lot of the bland four-door Toyotas, Nissans, and stuff like that, there are 4 to 5 VIP cars that are based on those. And it was just sort of a means to the end. The guys that like boring stuff got a car out of it, and of course they sell just a raft and a boatload of them out the door to the guys that are interested in the more I don't know, luxurious is necessarily the word I'm looking for there, but the more upscale VIP look. One other thing we're going to mention real quick from the company Platts, they tend to do mostly military stuff. They are going to be releasing a Pacific Racing, which is a legitimate real race team, Girls in Panzer branded Nissan S14 drift car. I don't know what the deal is with this because I can't find any information on it. It just came up for pre-order out of the blue the other day. This is supposed to represent the 2015 D1 Grand Prix car that the Pacific Racing Team really ran in real life. It's all anime, of course. The Girls und Panzer thing is a anime series where they're like, I think, space pirates. It's not really technically what I'm looking for word-wise there, but it's all boats but they're in space, and it's Japanese anime. Don't ask questions. And of course it's all decorated in the typical girls in scantily clad Catholic schoolgirl outfits. I just don't know what the basis of the S14 is, Tamiya had, or not Tamiya, but Fujimi had one, and Aoshima had one. The Aoshima one was a drift car. So I don't know what the kit is. I don't think it's an actual brand new tool drift S14 Sylvia. I think there would have been more talk about that. It does mention it as resin parts, and it comes with cartograph decals, but I believe they're sourcing the actual kit for somebody else. That is set up for a February release, so if you want to go look on Hobby Search or Hobbylink Japan for more details, they have a lot of pictures of what the decals are going to look like and stuff like that. But I can't tell you what the base kit is based off of. Platts does military stuff. I forgot to look, but I don't think they've done another 124 scale car. If they have, it's something like that. And I don't know. I really don't know what to say about that. More research needed on that. So that's where we're at, folks. So, batten your hatches if you're in the D.C. area. You're not leaving your house for a couple, 3 days. The 24-hour build, the Gary Kolchak Run 24-hour build is in its 10th anniversary this year. That is coming up next weekend, not this weekend. It'd be great for a lot of people because you can't go anywhere anyway, so might as well build a model, right? You can practice. But the actual 24-hour build starts at noon next Saturday, runs through noon on Sunday. We will have a link down here in the description to the Facebook page for the 10th annual 24-hour build if you're interested in joining that. And believe that, guys, is that. So, Revell out there, Tamiya covered. And we're looking forward to seeing what Ebro will have up. Actually, I can tell you right now, Ebro's going to do their own version of the Foregone HY van. They released that on their blog the other day. I forgot to mention it. Looks like it's a completely different kit than the Heller one, much like the Heller 4L and the Ebro 4L are two wildly different kits. If anything, the Ebro one builds into one of the two versions you can build with the Heller car. It doesn't the Heller van. It doesn't seem you can build both the way you can with the Heller kit. Also, based on the test shot that I've seen, it does not appear that all of the door panels and front end panels and all that are clear like they are on the Heller one. So we'll have to see what they're going to say about that at Nuremberg. Of course, Heller will have some stuff at Nuremberg. Meng will be there. ICM will be there. All the military stuff, of course, that'll all be there too. But we don't talk about that stuff. And I don't know. I need to go to bed. I'm tired. I just got back from going up to New York yesterday, and looking forward to having my weekend off, even if I am snowbound in my house. So anyway, guys, we'll see you on the other side.